My journey is different. My messaging is different. The way I present it is different. My ambitions are different. And my path to the goal is different. So I would encourage them. I would admire them. But I will never feel any less of myself because they might be ahead of me. His name is Will Smith, one of the top actors over the last 2 decades. I was watching an interview he delivered on one of the network television stations. And the journalist asked him, Will, how do you manage to run 10 miles a day, every day, without ever missing a beat? And he said, you know, I don't run 10 miles a day. I run a step at a time. He says when he's running, he never looks forward. He never looks up. He just keeps looking down and telling himself, one more step, one more step, one more step. You know, we are living in a time today when people get too focused on the big picture and forget the little steps that accumulate into the final result. I want to talk to you, if you just stick with me for the next few minutes. I will talk to you about some really 5 key things that you need to help you start with what you have. A lot of people fail not because of what they lack, but because of what they think they need to become successful. They look at what they already have, the gift they have in them, the intelligence they have in them, maybe the resources that they have available to them, and they think it's too small, I cannot do anything with it. Instead of thinking, let me start with this. While I'm working on this, I can keep improving and adding on it. It's Maya Angelou who said, do the best you can with what you have until you know better, then you do better. So if you don't want to fall into that trap, if you don't want to be one of those people who sit back and is waiting for more in order to do more, you will most likely end up frustrated, dejected, very, very severely anxious, maybe depressed even, and really angry with your life. Because there will hardly be a time when you have it all together, right? So start with what you have. If it's a $5,000 investment you need for a business, you don't have that entire amount, but you can start with even $1,000. Start with that amount. If you look across the board, most of the successful people around the world never started anything major with clarity and with the ability to have all the things they needed to start. They started with the idea. There is a reason why that idea keeps nagging you. There is a reason why you go to sleep. You cannot go to sleep because that thing keeps coming at you, telling you, hey, there is something you can do about this. There is something you can do about it. And when you wake up in the morning, you start thinking about, where am I going to get the tools? Where am I going to get the resources? And slowly the days go by and that idea fizzles out and you slowly lose your enthusiasm. You lose the momentum and you lose the conviction that you can deliver on that idea, on that dream. Thank you for hopping on the channel. And if you've watched the video up until this point, I can believe very strongly that you're finding some value in the content I am providing. I want to thank you immensely for that and for coming on the channel to watch my videos. Please do well to hit the subscription button and the notification bell. What that does is it permits you to be the first person to receive new content as soon as I publish. That way you are also going to help me, encourage me, and give me the ability to go out and get additional content which I will share with you to enrich your life and move you forward. Let's get back to the video. Start with what you have. Another key thing to be successful at starting with what you have, don't focus too much about the end goal. You see, a lot of people start things in life, they begin the project and their biggest focus is the end goal. Yes, you have to keep that in mind, but don't have that as something every day that is driving you. Break the end goal into small, achievable steps, which will slowly accumulate into that end goal. You know, one of the areas I learned this lesson a lot is in investing. For those of you who invest in ETFs or in stocks or in any kind of assets on the stock market, you realize that one of the 8 wonders of the world, as they call it, is compounding. Because compounding can take you from small investments of a couple of $1,000s over a period of time with compound interest on the returns. It can take you to hundreds of thousands of dollars. It's the same concept with building anything, even with our own human capacity. Think about when you go to the gym and you start exercising. After a long time of not exercising, you feel like, oh, you are totally out of shape. Yes, you're out of shape. But you know what? The first day you most likely will run 2 minutes on the treadmill. You probably might bench press maybe 45 pounds. You probably will be able to do exercises only for about 20 minutes. The next day on the treadmill, you might still do the same thing. The third day, you might be able to run 3 minutes. The fourth day, 5 minutes. The sixth day, 10 minutes. By the time you know it, in a couple of months, you are back to running maybe an hour or pushing up to 150 pounds of weight, depending on what your dream and desire was for that particular activity. Why am I sharing this with you? I am sharing this with you to encourage you to understand that don't get caught up in the trap of expecting the things to line up, or always getting into that paralysis analysis mode of waiting for one more thing to be able to start on the direction of your purposes. You also have to understand that you must resist the temptation to compare yourself when you are trying to build something for your life. Resist the temptation to always look at others and think maybe they are doing better. Oh, you wish you could be right there. No. The reason I encourage you not to do that, it doesn't mean you shouldn't get inspiration from other people, but you should be realistic about where you are, understanding that it's a process to get to where they are. Sometimes, just sometimes, people focus too much about what others have and forget about what they are already blessed with. Not realizing that the other person you are looking at, thinking he has it all, the gift you already have in yourself, if you apply it, you will even be his or her teacher. That is how life works. Don't get coupled and don't get caught up and bamboozled by the glitz and glitter of nowadays. You get on social media, somebody like me, I got serious on YouTube a few months ago, and within the last 6 months I've been able to accumulate 500 subscribers and 30,000 views. Boy, that is impressive to me. I received that email today and I was like, yes, I'm making some progress. There are some people who started with me at the same time and they have 3,000 subscribers today. Some have 40,000, 50, even 100,000 views already. That is them. And me, this is me. My journey is different. My messaging is different. The way I present it is different. My ambitions are different. And my path to the goal is different. So I would encourage them, I would admire them, but I will never feel any less of myself because they might be ahead of me. Remember, in life, somebody will always be in front and somebody will be behind. The most important thing is to find that gift of yours, is to find that reason and that one thing that you want to work on and that you want to die working on. So as you get along in this life, as you get going, especially in these times when there is a lot of uncertainty, when there is a lot of economic turmoil, people are being fired from their job, people are being let go, families are struggling with lack of income coming in, relationships are breaking down because of tough economic times and difficulties. I want you to understand that if you're one of the few people who have spent time to identify what their gift is, who've spent time to identify what their purpose and calling in this life is, do everything in your power to not only protect that, but continue to work on it. Understand that you must start with what you have. And until you have more, then you keep doing more. Keep doing the best with what you have. Because once you do that, you will slowly realize that there is progress. I was listening to this gentleman, one of the top YouTubers in the world. He's called Mr. Beast. His real name is Mr. Donaldson. And he said, the most important thing, because a lot of people ask him, how did you become successful? You have 250 million subscribers. You made $700 million in 2023. He said, you know, the number one important thing, just post videos and make sure every time you post a video, you've improved on something. By the time you know it, you would have accumulated enough improvement to become successful at that. This is just for somebody who is interested in content creation. What about you? Think about your own career. Think about whatever it is that you bring to the marketplace. How can you improve on that on a daily, weekly basis without necessarily feeling like you don't have the tools to work on it? Life is not perfect. Nothing good will ever be served to you on a platter of gold. That's why I tell you, and I want to repeat to you, that yes, you might have been through some really tough times. You might have been through some circumstances that are considerably difficult for someone your age, for someone your exposure, and for someone with your gift. But I want to remind you that whatsoever that circumstance was, whoever might have spoken upon your mind and your life and your spirit to convince you to believe that you are maybe not smart enough, that you're not talented enough, that you maybe don't have the skill or the intelligence, I want to tell you they lied to you, because you are enough. You have the skill, you have the strength, you have the intelligence, you have all what it takes to deliver on your dream and the value and the gift that God placed into your life. So as you get out there today, don't forget to be well, to be blessed, and by all means, never stop being a blessing to somebody. Until next time, it's been Gustav B Achu.